All right, guys, the energy market just exploded. On January 19th, 2026, US natural gas futures skyrocketed 15% in a single day, hitting nearly $3.57. This is the ultimate perfect storm where natural disaster meets human error. First up, we've got some big trouble at home. The polar vortex is making a massive comeback. Right now, weather models are tracking a huge wave of Arctic air screaming down into the central and eastern US. From January 27th to the 29th, this freezing air is going to push deep into the heart of the country. We are looking at some seriously extreme conditions. In the upper Midwest and Great Lakes, wind chills could dive as low as minus 45.5 degrees Celsius, which is about 50 below zero in Fahrenheit. Because of this, natural gas futures have already spiked by nearly 20% as of January 19th. Traders are panicking about a supply crunch, and prices are already testing the $3.70 range. People aren't just worried about their heating bills, they're terrified that Texas will hit a freeze-off. Here's the deal. When you pull gas out of the ground, it's not dry, it's got water vapor and liquids in it. When it hits those sub-zero temps, that moisture turns into methane hydrates, basically ice plugs inside the wellheads or pipes. These ice plugs act like a wall, completely choking off the flow. Unlike a power plant, you can't just flip a switch to fix a frozen well. You need people out there or a major thaw to get things moving again. Even though Texas updated its rules after the 2021 storm, it's still the biggest worry. First, in the Permian Basin, most of the pipes and valves are just sitting out there above ground without heavy insulation. Second, Texas wells produce a lot more produced water than northern wells, so they freeze way easier. And finally, there's the feedback loop. If the gas stops, the power plants fail. If the power goes out, the electric heaters on the gas wells die, making the freeze even worse. As of January 19th, U.S. gas production is sitting around 110.5 billion cubic feet a day. But analysts are warning that a long deep freeze in the south could instantly wipe out 10 to 15% of that. Plus, with the US exporting more gas than ever, the market is stuck in a tough spot trying to keep Americans warm while still keeping our promises to international buyers. On top of the crazy weather, we've got a massive human error mess. Trump is pushing to buy Greenland again, and it's triggered a total disaster with the European Union. They're calling it a Category 5 geopolitical crisis to get back at the US for threatening to take over the territory. Europe is moving to freeze that $750 billion energy deal they signed in Scotland back in 2025. The US says they need Greenland for national security, something about a Golden Dome missile system, but Europe isn't having it. That deal was supposed to keep US gas flowing to Europe all the way through 2028. Now, with that deal in danger and the big freeze hitting at home, nobody knows if there's enough gas to go around. It's created a perfect storm, and people are buying up gas like crazy, sending prices through the roof. So, why the sudden spike? Because the big money got absolutely slaughtered. Before this Greenland mess blew up, the big hedge funds were betting on a mild winter and stable exports. They were holding over 100,000 net short contracts, basically gambling that the price would go down. When the Texas freeze-offs met the freeze-up of the European deal, these funds were caught on the total wrong side of the market. To stop the bleeding, they had to buy back their positions at any price. This panic buying by the biggest players is what turned a regular price hike into a massive spike, as everyone scrambled for a piece of the dwindling supply. To make money off this crazy volatility, everyone is watching two heavyweights. First is EQT. They're the big brother of US gas. Crucially, they haven't locked in prices for a lot of their 2026 production. With prices breaking back above $3.50, they are basically printing money right now, since they aren't stuck in those old cheap contracts. Then you've got Expand Energy, or EXE. They became the new king of production after that massive merger. These guys are the masters of profit elasticity because they're so big and their costs are so low, their profits jump like crazy for every single penny the gas price rises. In a world where gas is hard to find, EXE is the ultimate leverage play. But watch out for a big psychological trap this Thursday, January 22nd, 2026. That's when the storage report comes out. But here's the catch. The numbers only cover January 10th to the 16th. During those days, the deep freeze was just starting, so the production wasn't totally wiped out yet. If the report looks normal and algorithmic traders start selling off, don't be fooled. Savvy investors know that the massive drop in supply from the late January blast won't show up in the data for another 2 weeks. Any dip on Thursday is actually a prime buying opportunity. As we head into the last week of the month, $3.64 is the line in the sand. If the price stays above that, the bulls are in total control. The next target is $3.85. If the Greenland mess gets worse, or Texas production drops by more than 15%, we could blow right past that target. But a word of caution, never forget that natural gas is called the widowmaker for a reason. If the weather models for February suddenly show things warming up, all those institutions that are panic buying right now will flip and start panic selling. The price will dump just as fast as it went up. Make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe right now. I'll see you in the next deep dive.